Hello, my beautiful audience, and welcome to another episode of Pop Talk. I am your host, Cody MacDonald, and today I am joined by Jessica Tomazzi, who I've been trying to break with laughter for the past 10 seconds, and it's not working, so god damn it. There we go.
No, it is. I thought, no, it did, but I was like, do I be serious? Do I not? I just had your face so close to the mic that I was just like, what do I do? Can I laugh? Can I not laugh?
I have to come up with different ways to do my little intro, so it's a dark subject. It's a dark subject what we're doing today, so it fits.
Yeah, that's true.
How have you been?
Good subject. Yeah, no, good. Thanks. Just been a work day. It's a Friday, which is nice. And here in the UK, we have a 3-day weekend, so looking forward to the 3 days of relaxation. How about you?
I got that coming up in May with Victoria Day. I look forward to it.
I know. I miss Victoria Day. We don't have it. We don't have it in the UK, which is weird. Tons of people are kind of like, wait, you guys celebrate Victoria Day and we don't? And that's like our queen.
Well, wait, what's the one this weekend for you guys? What are you celebrating?
It's just a long weekend.
Oh, just...
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I don't know. We were all like, oh, it's this week, the long weekend.
Is it a sad holiday?
Yeah, it's like a bank holiday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
So wait, what happened? Yeah. What happened? You said you went through some trouble. The transit, something caught on fire. What the fuck happened? Like,
well, I'll give you 2 examples. I called Dan, who was my boyfriend, and I was like, oh my god, here we go again, because in Greenwich where I live, down the street from where we are, big fire, like in Greenwich, where tons of fire trucks, everything. There was like smoke. We're like, what's going on? And then we saw it the next day, and the whole top floor was not even there anymore, and all the windows have exploded.
Oh,
so
wow.
So there wasn't any people that got hurt, thank God. But that was quite scary. But then today, 2 days later, I'm on the bus, just minding my own business, and all of a sudden, I'm like, why is the bus not going? And then 2 seconds later, the bus driver's like, everyone needs to get off the bus, there's a fire. And
fire? Where was the fire?
It was like a 5-minute walk or a 4-minute walk from where my bus was, and it was in Angel, so like quite central, like downtown London. So it was quite scary. But then I didn't see any flames, but there was tons of... It looked like a movie set. So
it was like there was some building on fire that was affecting you guys because of the smoke, or...
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Okay.
I don't know. When I went, I walked and saw it, and I was just like, oh, where is it coming from? And I'm guessing it's from this one building, but it's like hidden.
Right.
But I guess they want to corner off the street so people don't walk through or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to walk. It was only like a 20-minute walk, actually, to get to the station. But
you had places to be, meaning here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I need to eat my pizza and like get ready to see Cody.
I don't know if you know, but like, speaking of transit, there's been some crazy shit going on the Toronto transit lately.
I heard about that woman.
Well, there's plenty of stories. There's the woman getting pushed onto the tracks. There was a stabbing that happened. There was a little shooting that happened. It's like,
wait, what? There was what?
There was like,
you guys have everything.
there was literally like separate incidences. That's a tongue twister. There were separate incidences that were happening fairly recently, within like 2 weeks on the TGC, that it's like scaring a lot of people.
Oh my god!
Especially the pushing, like the pushing in front of, like pushing on the tracks is actually scaring so many people to the point that there's like a, I don't know if it's actually a petition, but there's like a mandate that's happening right now. Like, people in Toronto want to have the exact same like glass barrier that they have in Japan with the subways, where
they have it in
England as well. Yeah,
they have it in London.
Yeah.
They have it with all the major train line, like all the major places. So like Westminster, there's one at Canary Wharf. There's other ones.
Yeah.
Normally on like you wouldn't know anything about it, but it's on the Jubilee line. There's tons of them.
So it's everywhere,
which
yeah.
is quite cool.
I mean, I don't see why. What's the harm to do it in Toronto? It's like, yeah, just do it. It should always been like that. If it's like always a concern of safety, but
well, it's nuts that some. I saw the video.
Me too, yeah.
And I was just so shocked. Yeah, I saw the video because I follow like the Instagram, like Toronto Instagram.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Be careful of this woman." And I was just like, "Is this a joke? Like, what woman?" I watched it. I'm like, "What? What was like? It's not even." She just like decided to push a woman
just out of nowhere.
It wasn't even like
yeah.
She's like looked at her and like
yeah, literally just out of nowhere.
Scary.
It was so strange.
Yeah.
Like I'm honestly
scary.
I've been the type of person that just I don't even get near that yellow line. Like they say stay past the yellow line. No, if you get pushed, you're going down below. Like that yellow line doesn't stop anybody.
That woman just flew.
I stay far away.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous. I don't like it.
To be fair, like I'm kind of more like cautious now, but sometimes I'd be kind of think, oh, I want to. Especially when, you understand, like, being in a city and you want to be the first one on the train or whatever, or on the station or, like, in the tube. So now I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm not going to go that close.
I get it.
I'm going to stay my little distance.
Yeah, I get it. Like, that's not necessarily the case anymore because, like, I don't know, the subways aren't as packed on the platform and also on the train anymore just because of, the pandemic.
Pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Like since pre-COVID.
Yeah. Like things have kind of changed. We're actually getting to a point where it's becoming a little bit more crowded, but not super crowded to the point where you can tell people are trying to like sit next to strangers, but like because they block off every other seat, people are still like kind of standing and crowded around, but then it's so strange when every other seat is still blocked off and people are still using it to put their bags on there, or just it's like I'm actually at this point that I want to say to somebody, just fucking sit. Like, we've all had a long day. Just fucking sit next to me. Like, this is just ridiculous. If you're standing that close, if you're standing that close to strangers, then what's the fucking point of sitting next to me? You're wearing a mask. Everything
that's so crazy.
You know what I mean? It's just it's weird. It's like it's almost like I don't know. I don't want to say like lab rat, almost experimentation, but it's just fascinating to like. If I was watching the security camera footage of the TTC, I'd be like fascinated just to see how, wow, look at how society has changed from like 2019 to when we were like sardines being packed on the TTC,
Well, I think it might be just a like Toronto thing because in London it's back to normal. Like I don't wear a mask at all going to public transit. I'm literally sardine. Like a guy's face is literally right now super close to my face. Like everyone's just back to normal. Like I don't wear a mask. I haven't been wearing a mask for 2 or 3 months now. A couple months now.
I only wear a mask.
Maybe it's not 2 or 3 months.
I only wear a mask just on the transit and like just at places where I mean there's no like strict mandates aside from the transit, but like I just still wear it. But if I want to like have my voice to be heard and I'm with people, I'll just like pull my mask away from my face just momentarily just so people can hear me because I just the thing that pisses me off the most about masks is just that no one can hear what the hell I'm saying when I'm wearing it. So now that I'm not gonna like totally not wear it for the meantime, but I'll just like pull it away from my face just so people can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I'm going to recall my comment because I'm just thinking, like, when did I become comfortable being on transit without a mask? And I think for myself, it was, like, in March time.
Yeah.
So not too long ago, but it was just more like, I'm just like, you know what? I am trying to get... Because in London, it's very, like, relaxed. Like, so many people. Like, no one really wears a mask. You barely see anyone wearing a mask. But recently... people have starting to wear them, I guess because there's, what's going on with the new variant or whatever, or what's going in Singapore?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So I think since then, people are a little bit more cautious, but even then, I'm kind of like, Like, I still try. I don't purposely go up to someone and be like, yo.
Yeah, like I'm
You know
not,
what I mean?
and I'm the same way where it's like I don't even care if you are or not wearing a mask at this point. It's just we're all just trying to like live with it, you know.
And I don't care. I'm not gonna tell someone you shouldn't wear a mask or I should wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Like, if
Me
you
too.
feel more comfortable as a person wearing one or not, like, it's your thing, right?
Yeah, I
feel
completely agree.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with this subject. You know, with wearing masks and stuff. It's like so like everyone gets so little bit heated up about it.
As long as people, if
In a
they
way.
want to wear it, so be it. If they don't, and it's not mandated, why should I have any problem? You know?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm pretty chill either way.
Yeah, I don't frown anymore. I used to frown, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
No, I think since the mandate's been lifted, it's a different story. But
Yeah.
when the government was like, you wear a face mask, I wore a face mask, and I still like carry hand sanitizer.
I feel like
everywhere I go.
Oprah. I feel like Oprah. You get a mask, and you get a mask, and you get a mask.
Face off, and I'm joking.
I want to take your face
Yeah.
off.
I just told my colleagues about that movie for the first time today, and they never heard of it. So I showed.
Oh,
so I
Face
showed
Off?
them it.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're the one that introduced it to me.
I introduced you to
Anyway.
Face Off? What?
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's a
You did. I remember watching
I mean, it's a classic, you know, over the top 90s action movie. It's great.
I love it. I think you are the one that introduced it to me,
Oh,
and I love it.
great.
I thank you for it, to be fair. So
Awesome. Nick Cage getting out of a limo with doves flying and his like blowing, like the wind blowing with his coat. It's incredible. I love it. It's a visual. It's a classic visual.
oh my god, because the new movie's out, right? The Nick Cage movie.
I want to see it so badly. I want to see that.
Yeah, same. It just looks hilarious. Actually, I haven't really seen. Well, it's actually a satire, isn't it? Like satire about him, but anyway, it's like a whole different story.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like he's playing different personas of himself. I don't. That's all I know about it, but I kind of want to go into it a little cold. So.
I was gonna say about Tim Hortons, they're sprouting up everywhere in the UK now.
Oh, are they?
So,
oh, cool.
Yes, yeah, tons of Timmys everywhere now. Well, not like Canada version, but
Yeah, totally.
Dan and I were coming up from a friend's place, and there's a Timmy's that you can drive back. So we drove to the Timmy's, grabbed tons of Timbits, and I got an ice cap.
Yeah.
I took a photo.
Veronica actually told me, like, because you talked to her about this, and it's funny.
Yeah.
She said, "Why don't you just like buy like 50 Timbits and then freeze them, and they'll still be good." Because we actually did
That's
that.
why I love that woman.
Yeah.
This is why I love that woman. Yeah, we both had. She defrosted her Timbit from the freezer that you guys had,
That's so-
and then we both had a Timbit together.
That's adorable.
I'm like, this is probably the most Canadian thing ever. I love it.
Yeah, that's. So...
Anyway, if you want to talk, I just have to sing that.
Actually, did you know that they have Timmy's ice cream here in Canada?
I know. I saw
Yeah.
Kathy had the photo on her Instagram.
That was me that tried it out with her the other day. I tried.
Oh!
It's the birthday cake one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good?
You know what? I almost want to do like a taste test that compares because they have like salted caramel ice cap, chocolate donut, Timbit birthday cake. There's the fruit explosion muffin, and then there's a fifth one. Apple fritter.
Wait, they haven't a fruit explosion
Ice cream. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So,
that's like childhood memories.
I've only tried the chocolate one. It's okay. It's kind of generic chocolate. The salted caramel ice cap is actually really good. And it tastes like the real thing. I almost want to do like a taste test, like taste the real thing at first, and then have the ice cream to see if it actually is very similar. The ice.
You should do a podcast about it.
do like a almost like a Good Mythical Morning taste test. Yeah.
Yeah.
The birthday cake one was okay. It's just it didn't taste like the real thing, but it's fine on its own. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Jess, we are here today to talk about a filmmaker, David Fincher.
And it's not. Oh, I was gonna say it's not us.
Oh yeah, it's not us. Yeah. That's soon to happen. Imagine doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. Do like a filmography, like like do like a almost like a self-reflected stuff on all your old videos, but it's you as like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're talking about the genius filmmaker David Fincher.
What a babe.
He's beautiful. He's a fucking.
He's a.
There's like top doctors and there's like top just people in the world. The people they're master at their classes. Like David Fincher, he's just like he's. I think someone said it best on the internet. They said he's like a fucking scientist when it comes to filmmaking. Like he's a very smart filmmaker.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's such a cool guy, and I like how he started off like doing like music videos, didn't he?
Yeah, he did one that I've seen it plenty of times, the music video for Madonna's Vogue.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the black and white one.
Some pretty iconic stuff. So he goes from there to like, to like all this crazy.
It's kind of like you have to
amazing filmmaking.
Yeah, it's like you have to start from somewhere. Yeah. Like he actually when I was looking up all the stuff that he's like done music videos for, I was like, holy shit, like he did one for Aerosmith and for some reason when I knew that he did Madonna's Vogue, I had to look it up right away and see if he did the music video for Madonna's Frozen, because that's kind of like the music video for that. I remember seeing it a lot. It's like very kind of artsy and it's kind of like undersaturated, and I was shocked to realize that wasn't him actually.
Oh really?
Yeah. Great song, but yeah, it's interesting. But to go into his like just who he is personally, like what do you love about him actually?
Personally,
yeah.
So personally, I gotta admit, I just love the fact that he's an amazing filmmaker, and I think that's quite personal enough, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's showing his craft, he's showing his passion, he's showing his love for what he's doing, and he's making such a amazing imprint to all filmmakers, and he's quite an inspiration in a way, and I love his craft. Again, I'm very inspired by him, and he just seems like a really nice guy. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just ramble on and on.
No, it's totally good. He actually is someone who admires Stanley Kubrick.
Does he?
Yeah, and he admires him so much to the point that I mean we'd be fools without mentioning this, but like David Fincher is like a director who's been known to do, like, I don't even think multiple takes. That's an understatement. He does like quadruple takes.
I know. I saw that. Like
yeah.
He did like 50 takes for like some like small scenes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean
that's very Kubrick-esque.
Because Kubrick did the same thing. And when someone asked him about that, when someone asked Fincher about like why do you do that, and he had a point. He said, "Well, look, if we're spending all this money." Like the amount of money that goes into the production of a film, like flying all the cast out, getting everything prepared, wouldn't you want to stick around until you get the take that you want? Like why waste this all? Like what? And I'm like, you know what? He does have a little bit of a point. Like he's a perfectionist. Like,
and I can't. Yeah, no. Well, you could see with his stuff, you could see that it is perfection.
Yeah, because
a lot of his stuff, it's.
Because to me, it was like growing up, I was like, I would know like what a director was, like, Spielberg, James Cameron. It's like I knew what a filmmaker was, like, or a director, like what they do, like they oversee everything. But then when it got to a point in high school in my life, when I started to like figure out like, okay, how do you be a director? Like technically, how do you do it? And David Fincher was there at the beginning. Like, we'll get into it more with his early stuff, but like. I started to like watch his films from a different perspective, where I'd be like, wow, that natural light like is bouncing off of that actor's face because that light is coming from like a lamp in the room, or like they're next to a window. Like he's really good at using natural lighting. He's really good at like knowing where to put the camera in terms of its composition. Like he's literally like, someone proved that every shot that he's ever done is like literally is like an example of like the rule of thirds. Like,
yeah, it's like a picture.
It's a picture. Like he takes every single like shot seriously. He doesn't do like it's like one shot at a time almost, and like his sound design as well. Like there's always like such like you have to watch it with like a good sound system to pick up like subtleties, and I know I'll get to that with examples.
Oh yeah. Well, you could just feel it, when there's an intense scene. You're like, okay, I gotta admit, like music does make tons of scenes, but even without the music, I think his cinematography is like super amazing. Like it tells it itself, but that extra oomph of having the music involved in it, it's just such a great ride.
Yeah.
For people to watch, to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I still remember my first time going to see Gone Girl in the theater, and I was just like blown away. I was just like, this is like one of my favorite experiences I've ever been, to a theater before.
With me, it was Seven, where that's kind of like it's kind of funny that we're doing like. We went from doing like a Drive podcast to now just David Fincher, but like it really it's similar to where like I watched Drive and understood like the technical language of cinema, but like Seven was one of those examples where like I was literally geared focus on like almost every single lighting aspect, the sound design. Like I was like watching it from like a completely different perspective.
What's in the box?
well, why don't we get into his filmographies? That's a perfect segue, really.
Sorry.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I think David Fincher would love us if we just not talk about Alien 3. No, let's not talk about it. He got fucked over by 20th Century Fox. It's not his movie. It's not his vision.
Oh.
He doesn't like it. Moving on. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it was his first feature. It was his first feature, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't he off to a great start? Getting pushed around by producers, having an incomplete script while shooting. Like, it's bullshit. There's so much, I don't even want to get into it. No.
Next page.
Yes, next page. Let's get into it in 1995 with Seven.
Oh, I didn't realize that came out in 1997.
No, 95.
Oh shit! Why did I say 97? Oh my gosh! Sorry, that's the year I was born. So
yeah.
No wonder it's a great film.
all great things hold up from that year.
Yeah, just woo. No, but didn't you have Jurassic Park though? But
Oh yeah, okay. I was like 2 or 3 days away from Jurassic Park when it was released. It was June of 93, and I was June of 93.
Jeez.
Those effects and me hold up really well.
Now I understand why.
Yeah, Seven's about like two detectives are investigating a series of murders that are centered around the 7 deadly sins. It's Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Just a very nice film noir, kind of like techno noir. Well, not techno noir, more just basically like a neo noir with a really good old school kind of like buddy detective story. Just great lighting. It has there's so many great.
Yeah.
What did you think of 7?
Well, to be fair, I just loved the storyline of it.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw it, this was like a long, long time ago, so I was quite young.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of was getting into films, and I think I watched it on my own.
Me too, yeah.
And it's not one of those. Yeah, I don't think it's one of those films that you should watch on your on your own.
Tell me, which crime scene fucked you up the most?
I gotta admit, probably all of them, but I guess the ending was just more. The ending was honestly, I don't want to, spoiler. I don't want to do any spoilers, but yeah, the ending was just oh my god,
one of the greatest endings ever.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of the best endings ever, and I remember that's what people were saying. You should watch 7 because it's such a great ending. And I was like, oh. And to be fair, I just saw Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman on the cover, and I was like, this looks great. And this is before I really knew much about films. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember watching it alone, and I was just sitting there with my popcorn, and I'm like, why am I watching this on my own? But I just thought it was so well made, though, and I was like, Dan never saw it, and I was just like, Dan, you need to watch it. So we watched it together, and he was like, that was amazing, and he really enjoyed it, and he's not a big movie buff.
It's a very engaging film, just all quadrants, it's a tightly written script from its mystery. It's very It has like a kind of a style towards it where it kind of harkens back to like 1940s like detective films, but it also has like a very modern contemporary flair towards it. You know, like it's
Yeah.
and what's funny about the ending actually is that when David Fincher read the script, when he was offered the script to direct it, he read the ending and like the whole box thing, like he fucking loved it. And then when he talked to his agent, the agent went, "Oh, actually, this is like 1 out of 10 of the drafts. Like we didn't expect you to like the ending because there were multiple endings." And he's like, "Well, no, we have to go with this ending. This is incredible. Like this ties everything together so nicely. This is like a climax definition, you know?"
Yeah. What's in the box?
What's in the box? Oh, for me, the crime scene that always messes me up was Lust.
Oh,
the guy that was in the nightclub downstairs, and he started talking about how he's like, I fucked the woman, I fucked her, and he's like shivering, he's like having almost like a panic attack. He used like the strap-on thing, like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, ew. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
It was great.
It scarred me.
I think what it is that like you're seeing the aftermath of all these crime scenes, but I think it's the way you imagine it is way more terrifying and disturbing. It's like you don't see it, you don't see it, but you're like the implications and the way that they're describing everything is like oh god, I can't get it out of my head now.
I know, no.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, just the acting was incredible, and it's funny because I didn't really, I'm not really a big Brad Pitt fan.
Oh no.
Normally, but this movie made me really like him. When I watched it, I was like, "Oh, I think he's really good." Because I saw him like in other films and stuff, but I was just like, Brad Pitt, I'll see. Because he's normally not. Well, no, he did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but like, you know, because you kind of think like he's a pretty boy, you know, and then you see this film, and you're like, "Oh, this is really cool."
No, he may be a pretty boy, but he's a great actor. Like,
exactly. Yeah. No, that's what I'm. Yeah, he's a great actor, and I love him in. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, of course.
So,
yeah. He stole the movie. Really, that was the best character of the film.
Yeah.
It's also interesting.
I
was gonna say it's also interesting to see the dynamic between the two detectives. Like one's like a week away from retirement, like Summerhill. Yeah, Summerhill. Yeah, Summerhill. That's Morgan Freeman's character. And David Mills, who's Brad Pitt, is like just starting off in the field, and he feels like he has his life ahead of him. He has his wife, Gwyneth Paltrow, with an upcoming baby. Everything's gonna go well for them, right? Oh no, I can't say anything. But
no. And gosh, no. That's the thing. Like with this type of movie, it's just beautifully shot as well. Like what you said in the beginning, like how he is as a director. You definitely see it in this film.
Yeah.
And I just really love his, like, again, the cinematography, the lighting. I just think his lighting's incredible.
Yeah.
How he uses light in every shot.
Like he makes raining. He makes like scenes where it's raining outside during the day look beautiful. Like I don't know how he does that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I kind of want to look that up to see how he does it.
And what's funny is that the opening title scene is it's set to the song "Closer" by 9 Inch Nails. It's like a remix of the song.
Oh yeah,
and
that's true.
And what's so funny is that the 9 Inch Nails is like it's kind of a one-man band, but not really. But it's Trent Reznor.
Oh.
Yeah. So literally, he figured out that like, my style and Trent Reznor's kind of industrial, creepy music. It kind of works together. But later on, we'll get to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross with his scores later on. But I think that was kind of a funny coincidence. Coinkydink. So what would you out of 10? What would you give 7?
I was just like 7. No,
yeah, 7. That's a very mediocre rating.
Yeah. No, I think. Oh man, I'm pretty like. Whenever you see me on like is it Letterboxd?
Oh yeah, you give everything 5 out of 5. Yeah. I was like,
I know. I think you brought that up to me. You're like, Jess, you always like put 5 out of 5 for everything, and I'm like, I'm just such like a. I feel bad because I know how much people put their time and their effort and their sweat into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give this What does it say? A 10.
Yeah, I know. I give it a 10 as well. No, I give it a 10. I love this movie.
Yeah, no, it's one of those movies that I tell everyone to watch.
Yeah. Because for the longest time, this actually was my favorite David Fincher film up until recently.
Oh, no way.
I rewatched a few of his films, but there's one that I also loved it, but this one actually like topped it, like top 7 now. Like there's no comparison, but we'll get to the one that will be my favorite soon.
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm excited to talk about my favorite ones.
So the next one, 2 years later in 1997, was the Game.
Oh, I actually love this movie.
Yeah, this one's
I like Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas. He's a businessman. He participates in kind of like this game where like they're gonna like have you do these like kind of like errands, like strategies, but then he realizes that like, oh wait, there's people that know me, and it's kind of reminded me of Total Recall, where like it's like, wait, how do you know me? Yeah. I don't know you. What's going on here? There's way more to this than I was expecting, kind of thing. Like, what did you think of it? Actually, I want to let you kind of take the reins a bit.
What is with me in remembering when I first watched his films? Because I remember when I first watched this film, my uncle came to visit from Nova Scotia, and he was like, "Oh, you guys need to watch this movie. It's called The Game." I had no idea who the director was. I just heard this is The Game. I grew up with Romance in the Stone or The Jewel of the Nile, which is the Michael Douglas movies.
Right.
Because my mom really liked them. So I was just like, oh, it's Michael Douglas, and I like those movies. Why not? So we watched it all together, and I was like, this is so cool.
Yep.
I thought it was really creepy, because at first you're like, is this a game? Is this not a game? Because there's certain things you're like, I don't know. That's for me personally. I don't know. You're nodding your head like, but
yeah,
for me, it kind of creeped me out. I was like, I don't know how I would feel.
This is one of those.
How'd you feel, Cody?
Well, this is one of those movies where it's like the ending, and I'm not gonna say what it is because in case anyone's listening, but like the ending can either make or break how you feel about the whole rest of the film, and for me, it didn't quite work. It's like,
okay, I understand why you say that.
I see what they were going for. I see what they were trying to go with it in terms of like it being like that. It was all part of the whole thing. Like we were trying to make you feel this way, but at the same time, it felt like almost like a giant red herring, and that's kind of like a movie. It's a movie cliche that I kind of hate.
Waste of time?
Yeah, like a movie cliche. Like you know how
like a waste of time.
You know how in movies like they sometimes have like dream teases where like something crazy happens and then it cuts to someone waking up like. And I'm like, oh fuck! Yeah. Of course it was a dream, or of course like, oh no, they're gonna get figured out. Or, oh no, they're okay. It was just a red herring. Like,
yeah, like it should. Yeah. No, I understand now, like what you mean, because I understand. Obviously, I'm not want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean by that. Actually, that kind of gives me a different perspective now because I was seeing it in a different way.
Yeah,
I was actually quite like invested. Because I was like, oh my god, like,
and it's totally fine. I know that there's some movies out there where it's like there is like a giant twist at the end where it's like everything is, you know, sort of everything that you thought was going on is sort of in a different fashion by the end. But
that's why I was gonna say that's why I like Inception in a way. At the end, you don't know.
Well, I mean, that's ambiguity. Yeah, but that's ambiguity. That's a good thing. I love ambiguity. True. But the thing is...
no, but that's why I said that's why I said that's why I like Inception. Because I like that, because you kind of guess yourself being like, what is it?
I didn't get too much ambiguity out of the game. It was sort of like, oh, okay. Like, tension, and then it's like someone just coming out of the room and going, ha, you know? Like that's kind
of... no, that's what I agree with you on that. That's why I said with the Inception, I like how it ended like that. And that's why I understand what you mean by the game.
Yeah.
By, like, the ending wise. Because it's not like Inception where it's your own, you know, you kind of...
interpretation.
Make your own... Exactly.
Yeah.
But with the game, it's kind of like settled for you. And
yeah.
You know, and it's like what you said, it's kind of like a waste of time. but I feel like he kind of, like, learns in a way.
Yeah. I do remember.
He kind of
I
like
do.
learns like a real life, or like a weird life, or like, well, not really real life. That's not the right word for it. I'm trying to remember exactly, but
I remember
he learns something.
the car crash scene where the car goes into the water and he's in the back seat and it's like filling up, but like yeah, like that scene was really well done. I that one always jumps to mind. The acting is really good. It's not one that it's one of his weakest, but I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. I'd still recommend it, but just kind of go in with like your own sort of expectations in terms of like what you want to go for. And for that, I actually would give it a 7 for that.
To be fair, I probably would do that too. It's more of those movies that you just like, oh, what do you like to watch? Do you want to watch this? Like with Dan, I showed him that movie too, and he quite enjoyed it. But yeah, like I understand the ending. Yeah, you can go two ways with it.
His character kind of reminded me. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say his character kind of at the beginning kind of reminded me of his character in Wall Street, like Gordon Gekko, like.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that, but not too much.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to the next movie. Now I have to be very careful because I can't name drop the name of this because I'd be breaking the first 2 rules. So it's a movie that's about a secret organization that participates in physical fighting with their fists. But I can't necessarily talk about it because I'd be breaking the first 2 rules. and it came out in 1999.
Oh shit, was that 1999?
Hell yeah,
wow.
This is like a really great year in cinema actually. Yeah, we got...
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn.
We got this film that I can't talk about.
I feel like I should just do it just to like say
it. No, don't. Let's see how long. Let's see if we can go throughout this whole thing without saying it.
Do you think I'd be beaten up by it? They'll come to find me.
It's about Edward Norton playing this guy who meets a friend named Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt, and both of them together. Not only are they selling soap or creating Project Mayhem, but they create something that I can't talk about or else I'd be breaking the first 2
Helen
rules.
Bonham Carter as well.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god.
I just remember that sex scene in it.
Oh my god. So that
and he's like, what?
that grade school line? Yeah. I haven't been effed that way since grade school. Has like apparently the camera guy was laughing that the camera started like jostling. That's why they had to cut right away.
Oh, because of that.
Yeah, because they started laughing because she just drops out of nowhere. That was fucking hilarious.
Well, that's a famous line, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's why I remember that scene. But to be fair, I kind of take back the Brad Pitt thing because I really like Brad Pitt in this film.
Oh, he's great. He's just like a fucking charisma giant. Like just.
I feel like old guys. I don't know. I just remember people saying, "I want to be like him." Is that true, Cody? When I was chatting to tons of people,
well,
they're like, "Oh, I would love to be like him."
There was a bit of. I remember doing research, and there was a bit of like people trying to create their own sort of, organization inspired by this film.
No, be like actually be like Brad Pitt's character.
Oh,
like
okay,
coolness.
Yeah. I didn't know about that.
Like tons of young guys, apparently. I remember everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I would love to be like him." It's Tyler
Durden.
Tyler Durden. Yeah. I remember like in school and stuff, I was like, "Oh, I want to be like Tyler Durden." Like,
oh, that's weird.
And I'm just like, what? And they're trying to like wear his outfits or whatever. Because did he wear like floral? I'm trying to remember. Did he like wear like floral shirt? Or he like wore like a famous shirt?
Well, he wore like
it was on the plane with the.
It was like a purple. It was like a kind of magenta purple leather jacket kind of thing. Like. Oh yeah. Yeah, it really stands out. Like the costume design, like kind of pops and gives him kind of an identity.
Oh, but this film is incredible.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
This film is unlike anything I've ever seen before. The way it structurally tells the story, the way that like it it's just like it's really unlike anything I've ever seen before. Like, I mean, I know, like, there hasn't anything that I could say that hasn't already been said about. I was about to say it. I can't say it. I was like,
pull yourself together.
I was like, shit. There's so much like uniqueness behind it. There's so much like it really paved the way for a new type of cinema. Like, this was at the tail end of the 90s, and for the 2000s, like, I know this movie didn't do too well in the box office, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
It was actually home. It was
like,
home video. It was home video, and just the cult following that just tend to grow and grow and grow. Like, it's not even a cult film anymore. It's really just so cherished. Like,
especially back in that time, I guess they didn't really have like I don't know. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe for like the average moviegoer, you know, that doesn't really know much about filmmaking or whatever. They just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this film too, like, it was just insane. I just thought it was incredible, the storyline. Just how you're watching it thinking, you know, everything is how it is, and then it's like a 360 and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's one of the best,
right at the end.
One of the best little 360s and reveals ever, really. And what's funny is that actually, when you say that, like, back in the day, like, you know, regular people were probably like not ready for a film like this. In fact, the marketing team really didn't know how to market this film, where it's like, okay,
really?
where you have like guys don't want to see. I think David Fincher said it best. He said, you have a movie where you want to market where guys won't want to see Brad Pitt shirtless, and women don't want to see Brad Pitt filled with blood.
Oh, actually, that's interesting.
Like, covered in blood is what I mean. Like, you know, where it's just, it's sort of like this weird thing to kind of like, you just have to watch it to not know what to expect from it. And for me, every time I watch this film, it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I just, it's sort of like it's a juggernaut of like technique and humor and wit. Like, there's so much wit to it as well in the script.
Well, just even the filmmaking itself, with the editing, it's amazing how they would cut through scenes and like do, because there's some like quite fast shots. I'm trying to remember now, because there's a lot of like quick shots of them, you know, obviously him, and I forget, like, he can't sleep or something.
Yeah, he has insomnia, right?
Yeah, so it's amazing. I like how they show, like, from his perspective and all the cool shots and the cuts and stuff.
Oh yeah, like, you mean the like, kind of like when he admires like materialistic stuff, like where it's like, oh, I bought all this stuff from IKEA and this is my apartment, and then then it ends up blowing up.
I like that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, and also Edward Norton, like, you don't really see him nowadays, like, and I really like him as an actor. I miss him as an actor, to be fair, and he's done so many cool things.
No, he went
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, he definitely, like, he's sort of an embodiment of the film, really. Like, I can't not think of this film without hearing his voice, because, you know, he is the narrator, as he's credited as. And actually, one big, like, kind of, like, you know, thing where this, because you know how it's based on a book, right?
Yes.
So the author, Chuck oh god, it's a weird name to pronounce. Hutnick, I think that's how you say his name.
Don't worry. Yeah. It's close enough.
so the genesis behind how we came up with this film. Okay, if I got the story right, I think that he was at a campsite, and somebody down the road, like another campsite, was playing their music too loud. So he walked over and was like, "Excuse me, can you guys turn down your music? It's too loud." And all these guys just like started beating the shit out of him and assaulted him. And when he went to work the following weekend, and nobody in his office reacted, like, "Oh, what happened to you? Like, you have a black eye, you have, like, you're all cut up and all that." No one reacted to it and asked what happened or how are you doing. He's like, the fact that I feel like nobody recognizes me kind of was like a genesis of the idea of Fight Club, where it's sort of like,
wow,
yeah.
Cody, you said it.
Fuck! Damn it!
Now you're gonna get beaten up.
All right, I'll take it.
No.
Let's end it. I fucked it. I fucked it over. You met me at a very
throw your computer.
Jessica, you met me at a very strange time in my life.
Do 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 do. Little did you know.
Let's call it. What I give it a 10.
Yeah, I gave it 10 too. Like, it's one of those movies that, yeah, you can't get bored of it.
Fight Club is the best.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, just like the end, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wonder why the soap company.
Because like anybody can do it. It's sort of a play on. It's sort of a play on that where it's like
do a candle.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many.
Sell candles.
There's so many symbolic layers what Fight Club's trying to go for. Like I look at that as like, wow, like you literally could make a business out of just like anybody could do that. Why not do that instead of just being like, you know, a person that's just part of the machine, you know?
Well, isn't it that's how they meet? Because they're on the plane together?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he's just like there with the soap. Isn't it? I'm trying to remember now.
Yep, yeah, that's how they meet. Yeah, with the soap.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Need to watch it again. Yeah, it's one of those movies. You just can't get bored of it.
Never.
And you can watch it like so many times, and every time you probably can maybe see something new, I would think.
There's so much to it. It's almost worth breaking down on its own. It's great.
Next podcast. A F Club.
F
Fight
Club.
I felt bad. I kind of feel bad saying it. I've been trying to avoid saying it this whole time, but you already beat me to
We
it.
tried. I knew we were gonna fail somewhat. It's so hard not to. So the next film in 2002, Panic Room.
Ooh. That's a great film as well.
So we got a mother, Jodie Foster, and a little young daughter played by Kirsten Stewart. They get this new house that has a panic room, and then it's a very straightforward, simple story about like there's a home invasion, and then the mother and the daughter are barricading themselves in this panic room, and they just got to figure out why these guys are here.
Yeah, that's practically it.
I mean, it's gonna be a short synopsis of what I think about it. I think it's just a very straightforward, tense thriller. Like it's a good time.
I think you kind of nailed that. Because to be fair, it's a great time, and maybe because of like how the other one was perceived in the box office, maybe this was more geared towards other viewers, like an average person going in.
Yep.
So it's easier to get money, easier to get
exactly
the views and everything. So I feel like this one is definitely, especially with Jodie Foster as well, because she did like Silence of the Lambs and stuff.
Yep.
And tons of people love her, and why wouldn't they? So
exactly.
It's a great film, and I forget who the bad people are.
It's Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yeah,
yes.
I always forget Jared Leto is also in Fight Club. I always forget about that. He's in that too.
Shit. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's crazy how much stuff he's done.
Yeah. If Forrest Whitaker has a really nice arc in the film where he has like a little bit of a change of heart as well.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, oh my god, Kirsten Stewart. We share the same birthday.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, no, she's really good. Well, she's a child actor then. Well, she was like very little. She was like 10 or something.
Yeah, this is her first role. Yeah, she does a good job in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, I was scared. Like she's like run to the
Yeah, this is actually Veronica's favorite out of his movies. She just.
Well.
Yeah,
she told me about that film, and she said you better watch it. Like,
yeah. I think it's very effective. I mean, there's not really too much I could really say about it. I'd say I recommend it. And it's funny that you say that, like, yeah, he is going for almost like a general audience approach after, like, you know, Seven did fine, and as well as The Game, but like he really wanted to try to have Fight Club really like strive to get some attention. So I think he did a wise choice on trying to go for like something a little bit more mainstream with this one. Because
I think so too.
The next film we'll get to, I think, is where his style officially came into its own, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I give Panic Room a 8.
Yeah, I'm copying you all the time. No, but too, I would give it an 8 too. I thought it was such a well made. But it's funny though because, again, sometimes like I watched it like when Veronica recommended it to me. I just watched it and then I was just like, oh, I didn't realize he directed this. Like I was like, whoa, yeah, that's so cool. And I'm like, I'm starting to realize a pattern as to why I like these movies, and it's because of him. So, and I gave it an 8 as well, and I think it's just a good movie.
And I think it's funny because she didn't even know who David Fincher was until I started to say his name, and he's like, wow, he did this film, he did that film. He like she knows who he is now, kind of because of me, but she's like, oh my god, I didn't know he did all these films that are actually like really good. That's so like, yeah.
You're like, who is this man?
So then, in 2007, like I said, I think his style, like, of what we have today of David Fincher, like, when we think about it, this is where I really think, like, his style came into his own. Like, he found his footing technically on lighting, cinematography, sound design, everything, you name it. And that's Zodiac.
Oh, I don't know if you heard that, but I threw my pen at my desk. Love that film.
It's great.
I know I've been saying that with all the other ones, but oh my gosh.
So it's of course about like
good.
all the murders the true life murders that like the Zodiac killings that happened in the early 70s, like this one
in San Francisco.
This one journalist played by Jake Gyllenhaal is trying to piece things together. Like, it's the one big problem with this film is that if you know the story, you know that it's almost like the outcome is going to be a bit underwhelming, but that's almost like not even like, it's not by the film's design, it's just by history, where like for the longest time, like we really didn't have an answer of like who it was, you know, like.
No, but I guess it's like with like a lot of these historical dramas or these historical films, a lot of them, tons of people kind of know what the outcome is if you are like into history and stuff. But if you don't know like let's say you don't know history or whatever, and you watch this film, you could be like, oh, did this happen?
Yeah.
Or did it not? Because it just seems so unbelievable that this person would just go up to people and like kill them in like horrendous, like horrible ways.
Yeah.
But again, yes, love it. So good. I'm a huge Robert Downey Jr. fan. So I love him in this movie, and I think he played it so well with Jake Gyllenhaal. They played it off each other really well.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember, is he the older, is he a reporter? No, he's I thought he was a reporter. Was he a reporter? Why can I not remember now?
You know, it's
it's
funny. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm actually getting Mark Ruffalo's character mixed up. I think one of them is a detective and the other two are the journalists, or maybe all three of them are the journalists. I can't remember.
No, or why can I not? And I like this movie a lot.
It's okay.
Why can I not even? I'm like, I just love how they filmed it.
Yeah,
and I like Mark Ruffalo as well.
Even though it's a technically like Marvel, like I love watching it just based on like its technical aspects alone. Just another thing, it can feel a little long to the point where it almost would have been a nice like TV series. And I know we'll get to TV series a little bit later, and how I personally would think David Fincher, that's the route he should go for, is just streaming miniseries and like kind of stuff like that. We'll get to that, but I think one scene that really stands out to me in this film was the one scene where Jake Gyllenhaal was in the bunker, and he was like, is somebody else with us in this house? And he's hearing the footsteps, and it's the footsteps that gives like it like shivers up my spine. Like it's such a tense scene.
I love those scenes.
Oh, it's so good.
I love scenes. It's so funny. I'm like a weirdo. I love scenes where, you know, people like that are hiding under something, and then you see the foot go by.
Yep.
I don't know why. I love those scenes. I know that's so weird for like me to be like, oh, I love that.
No, it's good. It's totally fine. Yeah, it's totally good.
Yeah, but what I always remember with Zodiac is when it's that scene where it's the couple in the 50s, I think, and they're sitting along the water.
Yep.
And they're like, the girl's like, oh, what are you, or like she's like getting creeped out because there's a guy there, and then her boyfriend's like, oh, it's fine or whatever, and the guy comes over and it's just, I don't want to say anything, but you can kind of,
yep.
You know.
Yeah. The picnic,
That
the
scene,
couple,
the picnic,
yeah.
That one, I was just like, oh my gosh, because it was like during the day as well.
Yeah, that's what makes it way more terrifying too.
Because it's like you're not safe anytime.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's so, and that's actually like if you know the Zodiac story really well, like that is like a really
trademark.
It's a one of the stories, one of the murders that everyone always brings up is that couple, and I think it was handled really well. Yeah, I give it I give it an 8. I think it's a solid movie, even though it is a little long. I think it's very well done, but just you got to know what you're in for and just kind of know a little bit more of the history before getting into it. That's all.
To be fair, yeah, I agree. And I gotta admit, you know, when I think about it now, it did go off a little bit long, like with Robert Downey Jr.'s character at the end.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking? Yeah.
Yeah.
That, but I still really enjoy it. I'll give it an 8.5.
Oh,
because I really liked that film. And I just thought all the actors were really good, and they really meshed well. And I also just really liked the lighting that they used, especially in like the journalist room, because that's what I remember is like this yellowish color.
Yep.
Like how it's very like 70s or 70s-esque, which they really got the time period really well, and it's San Francisco as well.
Yep.
And
yeah.
I just thought it was really cool. And they went up to like tons of locations on it as well for this film, and I thought it was really good.
So this next one, I know you just kind of mentioned it to me right before recording that you haven't seen it yet, but that's okay. I won't go into it too much because I haven't seen it in years. I didn't rewatch it recently. And funny enough, this is actually the first Oscar nomination that David Fincher has got. Yeah. It's so funny.
I know. I looked that up too today, and I was just like, oh, I would have thought he would have gotten it for like
Fight Club or something. I don't know.
I was gonna say the one that should not be named.
So in 2008, we got The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So I'll briefly go over it. So it's about Brad Pitt, who has this condition. It takes place in like it's kind of a period piece. I forget the exact year. It's like.
Is it 7?
It's like. I can't really remember the year. I know it's a bit of a period piece, but he basically has this condition where he ages backwards. Like he's born an elderly person, and then he ages backwards all the way up until he's a baby, and that's kind of like where he would die. And it's very strange. I know this is actually considered one of his worst films by many people. I think it's
worse than Alien 3.
Well, okay, we don't count that. but where it's like I think people really criticize how sentimental the film is, but I think that's the point. I think that's what he was going for, and I'm not defending it. Like I think it's pretty long and it's kind of schmaltzy at times where it doesn't need to be, and it's a character study where it kind of I feel a lot of whiplash, like not the movie, sorry, but I feel.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Well, it is a great movie. I feel a lot of like tugging back and forth between, am I supposed to like feel bad for this character, and am I also supposed to like not side with him, because I don't know. It's this kind of uneven kind of character study that like, but it's really well acted and it's really well made. That's the frustrating thing about it, but. I guess I would recommend it, even though I give it like almost like a 6. I really don't have much to say about it, to be honest.
I was gonna say this. The reason why I haven't watched it, because it kind of scares me a little bit, the concept of it. I think because it's so like again, I'm really good with like scary movies or whatever, but I just feel like with this film, it's so like, to be fair, it sounds cool for me to, because I'm the type of person I would watch like tons of different things.
Yeah.
But with this one, I've always put it on the back burner for some reason. To be like, oh yeah, I'll watch that someday. But there's always been something else or whatever. But I think a little bit of me, I'm kind of scared to see Brad Pitt being born as an old man and then him dying as a baby.
Well, they do almost like they do almost like a de-aging effect where, or maybe it's even makeup. I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's not as noticeable. Like you can just tell it's just Brad Pitt kind of shriveled and kind of, it is what it is. That's what I mean.
I think I would have, I think because I remember when it came out for the first time, and that's what everyone would talk about. Like, oh, have you seen, Brad Pitt be, in this, starring in this new role and all this. And I was just like, this is such a weird concept. Like, I don't know. I think my parents saw it and they're like, I don't know, I would recommend it. Again, they're not big movie, they are big movie people, but they're not like us, where we're just we dive into it and we analyze it and see from a different perspective. But yeah, I'll definitely watch it. But again, it's one of those movies that I'm a little bit hesitant for some reason. And I didn't realize it was his film until when I looked it up and seeing what David Fincher has done, I'm just like, oh no, this is a shame on my part because I'm a really big fan of his. So, yeah.
I mean, you're not missing much, but at the same time, if you want to just say, okay, I've seen all of his films, then sure, I guess you could watch it. But you might think it's a bit sweet. I mean, I don't know, it's complicated. I give it it's a
long one too, isn't it?
It's long,
it's a long
yeah.
Film as
it's
well.
a long one.
I remember that was the main thing that people were saying. It was a longer. But maybe he's just known for his long films.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I give it a 7. It's not really the greatest, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But that's okay because 2 years from now, he'll be making almost like a defining film of the past era that we just went into. Like this, some actually consider this as the Citizen Kane of our generation. They actually went as far as saying that instead of it being newspaper stuff, tabloids and all that, we got social media.
Oh,
so we got.
I know. I like that cut. I like how you brought that in.
There we go. So in 2010, we got The Social Network. Oh. Yeah,
I gotta admit, I love this film.
Is this your favorite?
No, well, to be completely honest, it still is one of my top films that I really love watching.
Yeah.
It's just so freaking well made. I just loved it. I was just like, whoa.
For a story, so cool. for a movie about the story of the making of Facebook. Well, it's sort of like the making of Facebook, but it's not really. It's factually kind of. I think David Fincher said it best, where he's like, it's kind of like a myth. It's not really based on a true story. It's not really. We're not really making it up. It's sort of like this weird mythos of is this true? Is it not true? Mark Zuckerberg, he has a lot of power now. It's what if it did happen? What if it didn't happen? It's but we all still use Facebook, or maybe some of us. I don't know. It's whatever.
Well, Facebook runs WhatsApp and Instagram, so Facebook has access to a lot of things and a lot of people, a lot of data.
It's creepy.
It's gonna be crazy when you think about it. I feel because Elon Musk, is doing some crazy stuff. I feel that our amazing director should do something about Elon Musk.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I think David Fincher should do an Elon Musk movie. Yeah. Well, he just bought Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like this would be right up his alley.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
I mean, okay, I have to obviously bring up now, because when I mentioned before about how the opening of Seven was a Nine Inch Nails song, here we now have the amazing combination of the work of David Fincher's vision and also Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's score, because this is one of the greatest scores I've ever heard. It's every time I think of The Social Network, I think of that like that dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun. Like it has
That's
like
how
this.
I think about Facebook.
That comes to mind. But
Yeah.
it defines the character so well of being like innocent, but there's also like this eerie undertone with it as well. Like sometimes you don't know if it's like sound design, if it's the score. There's like this
Yeah.
like how does he edit films like this? Like it's so well paced. Like he cuts between two lawsuits, and yet as an audience member,
That's true.
and as an audience member, you're like, I'm not confused. I get where in timeline both of these lawsuits are happening. I know that some shit's obviously going to go down with the Nguado character played by Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
I didn't even know that was okay. It's funny about Armie Hammer. I didn't know like that. There's just some amazing effects. I thought it kind of brought me back to A Parent Trap where I didn't know I didn't know that Lindsay Lohan did not have a twin when I first saw her in that movie.
Well,
And the same thing.
I'd be the same.
Yeah.
Same way.
The same way. And Armie Hammer, I thought, oh, he has a double, whatever. Like, no, it's him. That's amazing. Oh my god.
No, I love the cinematography in it, and and also the acting is just incredible.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg fucking nailed it.
What am I talking about? Mark Zuckerberg. Jesse Eisenberg. No, but honestly, I associate him with him. Like, even though he played him. You know what I mean?
He perfects it so beautifully. Like, just the fast talking, the kind of intelligence that he has. Like, it's so well done.
This role was made for him. You know, you talk about that one actor that has that. Yeah, I just think that role was definitely made.
I agree.
Jesse Eisenberg. Like,
100%.
He totally got into that character. And to be fair, sometimes when I watched a couple of other things that he did, I kind of was thinking, because I love The Social Network, I was like thinking Social Network. But again, like, it's not with all the stuff he's done. But yeah, the lighting though, it just reminded me a bit of Zodiac with the whole like kind of like yellowy kind of browny tones that they use.
So I don't know if you know this, Jess, but like I really recommend. I don't know if it's on a streaming service anywhere, but there's a documentary called Side by Side.
Oh.
So it's a documentary about
I'm writing it down.
The topic is film versus digital.
Oh.
So you got tons of directors like say like David Lynch, Tarantino, like they're all people that like love film. Like they hope that like that kind of that illusion that like, oh my god, 24 frames per second, and like creating the illusion behind film, like you're creating a series of images with like film, and like that's so great. It's part of filmmaking and processing through that. But then there's like filmmakers like David Fincher that's like digital is like he perfects digital, and you get like almost like a very like what's the word? Like it's an impartial documentary where it's not wanting you to like choose both sides on whether or not film is better or digital is better. It presents both sides of the argument on like, is film going away? Is digital just, but David Fincher's in this, and he talks about how like, he uses the airy cameras, and like what he does to perfect some of these shots, and like there's a lot more craft behind it than some people. Again, I'm not like trying to defend. I get that there's some pros and cons with both film and digital, but like it's a fascinating look behind it, and I think with The Social Network, it's one of the prime examples on just like how it's an era defining film. I can't really say it like it's.
I only saw it like, again, I haven't watched this in a while now. I want Dan to watch it because I've been bugging him, being like, I need to show you this,
Yep.
Because it's just such a well-made movie, and he's more sees it face value. He's like, oh, do I really want to watch something about Facebook or whatever?
But that's the thing, is that like, but the thing is the way it's directed. Like you're like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's such an intense drama from its energy, from its score, its editing keeps you like on edge.
There's hardships in it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
hardships in it.
Well, it's a story about betrayal. It's a fall from grace. It's a lot of stuff in it. That's what I mean. Like how I compare Mark Zuckerberg in this movie to Charles Foster Kane, where it's like it really is a fall from grace. You know, like it's just in a different era.
Yeah, like I was looking at it recently, and I'm like, oh my god, Andrew Garfield's in it. I guess it's like his first kind of. Well, he did this film that he was younger, and it's called like I forget what it's called, but it's something to do with he's a child and he's a child like murderer or something. It's an English film, and it's like B or something, or I don't know what it's called. But that was like the first movie that I saw him in. It actually was a good film, actually, and I kind of ruined it, so maybe you could take, you could scratch that.
Oh no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. No, he's great in it. I think his scene at the end where he flips out is just, it's great.
Oh yeah.
How he got diddly squat. Yes. How he got literally diddly squat for every. It's great. It's so great.
Yeah, I feel like with all these guys that are very techie and everything, like.
Did you know how they shot the nightclub scene with him and Justin Timberlake?
No.
So the nighttime scene where, you know, they're talking about business and all that, you know how they're kind of shouting, like if you're I mean, you've been to more nightclubs than me, right? Like, you know, you know that you need to kind of shout to hear to the other person, but the way they were filming it is that the actors were actually shouting to each other, but there was no music playing. They overlaid that later on, which makes it more effective.
No way!
Like, that's what I mean. The sound mixing is just fucking perfect in his movies sometimes. I don't know how he does it. Like, it's incredible.
Well, he's the right people, because honestly, I feel like with like editing sound, I think it's like it has to be top notch with editing sound, because I know it's just you don't want to like mix something and then you can hear it. It can take you out of your element by watching the program, watching the movie, whatever you're watching. It can take you out of its element. But then again, you bring up how amazing the audio is mixed, and again, I don't think the regular viewer really understands that and sees how like it's not an easy task to do that.
It's sometimes when people are not really into filmmaking, they sort of take a lot of things for granted, like that.
Exactly.
You know, but I think that's one thing maybe Fincher knows is that like, but he wants people to get wrapped up into the illusion behind it. Like it's a masterclass.
Maybe this is why like, I'm just saying this, but he's using he's doing cool stories. Like I'm not saying his other stories were cool, but I'm saying now like. Tons of people, can relate to Zodiac, the Zodiac killers.
Yep.
People can relate to that. And now with the social network, people can relate to that as well, because like what you said at the very beginning, we all relate to our our phones, and like that's basically our lives, unfortunately now.
Yeah.
It's like with that, but to be fair, thank God, because I can get to speak to you from England.
Yeah, so. Exactly. There's some pros,
right? So
there's advantages. There's advantages.
Exactly. But yeah, like maybe since Panic Room and stuff, I've been noticing there's a shift that he's doing more things that loads of people can kind of relate to.
Yeah.
As viewers,
and I think but
he does it in such an amazing way.
Yeah, and also just at this point, like the Social Network kind of feels like a film that it's unlike anything he's ever done too. Like it's not a crime drama, it's not a mystery. It's just a really tense drama, historical kind of based on a true story thing. Like That's what I was shocked. My heart wanna gives it a 10. My heart wanna gives it a 10, but I think I'll go with a 9.5. I will give it a 9.5.
Oh my god!
I know.
Really?
I know. Like Pat and KJ, like both of them say like this film is in my top 3 favorite films of all time. Like it's
this is 10 for me.
This
is a 10 for me.
I think if I give
love it.
Okay, how about this? If I watch it one more time, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10. But I'll just give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.5.
Watch it now.
I'll give it a 9.5 right now. But it is truly an excellent film. It's.
No.
It should have. I look back going, it should have won Best Picture, not the King's Speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Firth.
No. Social Network was way more.
Oh, so different.
Way more.
So different.
Yeah.
That's they're two totally different ones.
Well, that's the Oscars in a nutshell. It's just a hodgepodge of just that's another topic. I don't want to rant.
Yeah. do.
Or it's a slap in the face. No.
Hey.
Yeah, whatever. That meme has died now.
Oh God, no.
So then the next year, so literally a year right after, I couldn't believe this. Yeah, because so Social Network was the first movie.
A year?
Yeah, it was a year right after 2011. So I saw the Social Network in the theaters, and then literally
Me too.
and then literally a year later, he comes out with the remake of a Swedish film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh my fudge! Okay, 10.
Oh wow, you love it! Holy shit! Okay.
Oh, I did it. Sorry. I did a. I'm pretty sure it was at film school that I did a. Did I do films? It must have been. Yeah, I did a comparison between the two versions. I did a comparison between the Scandinavian one and the one that he did.
Oh, here's the thing. I have not seen the original.
No.
I have not seen the original Swedish film yet. I just didn't get down to seeing it. I want to see all three of the originals. I just haven't seen them. And I was just so in love with David Fincher at the time that I just saw the remake without even thinking twice. Like, I have to see the original.
And James Bond.
Yeah, so Daniel, I'm trying to remember. So Daniel Craig is like investigating on a woman who went missing, and he partners up with the Alicia Vikander character played by Rooney Mara.
Yes.
That's kind of what. Yeah.
Isn't she?
I remember. Okay, that's really what it's about. I just remember it being way more complex. Oh.
Oh
okay.
no, it is way more complex. No. It's I can't recall all of it, but it is very complex, and it's just like it's quite mad. I haven't watched this probably since I did the reports.
Yeah.
It's been a long time ago, but when I was watching it, I just remembered this is an amazing film. And it was just so creepy as well, because it's all about, Rooney Mara's, is that her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rooney Mara?
Alicia Vikander was is it Alicia Vikander? No. Oh my god, I'm getting names mixed up. Hang on. That's an actress, Alicia Vikander. The character's name, the character's name was Lisbeth Slender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Salander?
Oh my god, there we go.
Salander? Is it?
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
And yeah, no. It was we're horrible with this one.
We're terrible.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I did my thing on this. Wow. Little did I know that I don't really remember that much. It's probably like 7 years ago now, but yeah, no, I thought it was really well done. I really like Christopher Plummer, who's a Toronto actor in it as well. Stellan Skarsgård's in it, who I'm pretty sure he's in the original one as well. Or is he only in the original one?
I don't know. I don't know much about the original. I should have seen it. I feel bad.
I gotta admit, I guess because I feel like the Scandinavian one was a little bit more like tense, as in not tense, but I'm trying to remember, because again, this is such a long time ago, and they're very similar, obviously, because he's recreating it. Yeah, it was both really good, but and also I'm just kind of jealous because Rooney Mara, isn't she with my babe? She's with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, in real life, I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, they had a baby together.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure that they're married, and I'm quite jealous. I really like him.
Yeah, I remember the mystery being really good. I remember it had a lot of character to it. Like, there was a lot of moments that really relied on all the character development, which I really liked. It made it kind of different and fresh.
Yeah.
I give it an 8. It's a solid time. I think it's very well shot. I think the opening title scene with it's actually Trent Reznor and Karen O from the band Yeah Yeah Yeahs doing a cover of Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song.
Oh, no way.
That fucking opening title scene was incredible. It was like literally like it sounded like a 9 Inch Nails song, and it completely set the tone of the film. Like it's like gothic and kind of like, you know, it's
true. It's gothic. Yeah, like one of the scenes that I remember is like where I'm trying to remember, but it's with the main girl, like Rooney Mara.
Yeah.
She goes in and she has like a meeting with someone. I'm trying to remember.
Oh yeah, it was like a boss.
One.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like the boss hitting on her and it was a creepy scene.
And it's really gross. Yes, and that scene still haunts me.
And there's like a creepy undertone kind of tension in it too. Like it's really
it's like throughout the whole thing it's like that, isn't it?
It's disturbing what's happening, but it's well done on how it's executed.
Yeah, it's definitely neo-noir stuff. You could definitely see his beautiful presence in the film, but
like the shot where they're driving up to the house and it's like snowing. Like I always that shot's kind of burned into my memory actually. Like it's so visually striking.
Actually, speaking of the house, I actually really like that house. Because I just remember them walking around. Because I'm pretty sure like they're in the kitchen or something. Again, this is such a long time ago. I need to really rewatch it.
Me too, yeah.
But yeah,
I give it an 8. It's solid.
Yeah.
It's a solid one. Yeah.
Yeah, I give it an 8 too. I know I'm like, oh, I love it. I give it 10. Actually, what am I talking about? I give it a 10, but I need to watch it again. It's so horrible. I'm like, yeah, I love this film. I did a thing of it. Now I'm like, yeah, I'm like...
Been a while, yeah.
It's been a while, but I did a whole thing on it about the difference. Did you have to do that for your films?
I had to do... I don't remember doing a comparison. I just remember doing like we had to do a project on like a filmmaker who wasn't an American. We had to do a filmmaker who wasn't American. We had to do somebody who was Canadian or just like someone foreign. So I remember doing mine on Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor Totoro.
All right, so we're home stretch. We're out with two more films. So the next one, I know you and I both like. I think we love this film, Veronica. It's definitely a very accessible film that I think everyone has almost seen it by now. But we're talking about the film Gone Girl from 2014.
I think this is my favorite of his.
I can totally see it. I love this movie. It's so good that it's like it's almost too good that it almost sucks.
What?
Does that make sense? No. I think it's definitely. So to give a very brief description, like Ben Affleck is accused of killing his wife, played by Rosamund Pike, and that's all I'm gonna say.
What a babe.
Oh yeah. Should I bash her head in?
Oh God, petting her head.
Petting her head, yeah.
That's the very beginning, isn't it?
It's very right at the very beginning. It's
that music.
It's a very engaging film.
With me.
It's a very engaging film. I appreciate that there's a lot more like kind of witty humor to it. It's kind of painting commentary on how the media kind of like twists some things around, like our perception. I just think it goes, without spoiling it, and Gillian Flynn, okay, you did such a good job at adapting your own script that like after I saw the film in the theater, I said I want to read this book because it's really tightly written, but it is so twisty, churny to the point that like when does criticism begin and when does just acceptance begin? Kind of thing where it's like, oh my God, it's just so many twists and turns in this movie. It's unbelievable.
I love it. Like, oh my God,
I love it too. It's
highly
it's highly engaging. Like I really appreciate it. It's it was one of my favorites of 2014 actually. That and Birdman and like a lot of other ones. Whiplash, like that was a fucking great.
Shit, that's a great year.
That's a fucking great year of movies. 2014. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my god, such a great
I
year.
remember going to all those in the theater.
Me too.
But Gone Girl, I remember going to Gone Girl in the theater. I forget if Veronica joined me.
It was packed. When I saw it in the
that.
theater, it was packed, and no one said a word. Everybody was so engaged in it. It was a great experience.
Oh, but just like that. Well, I don't want to say anything. I could talk. Oh my god, Cody. Honestly, I would definitely talk about this film in detail because I am freaking obsessed. Like, I probably watched this movie. Like, maybe that's kind of scary if I'm obsessed with this movie because it's not really saying much about me.
I think what it is is that like it taps into like a very like, you know how when like people read like these novels that are really engaging. You know how when people love to read like the 50 Shades of Grey books where it's just like. Or like those stuffy kind of murder novel things, like or Fatal Attraction. Like people like to watch like people like to watch marital clashing with murder kind of stuff. Like that material, I it's so tightly done and written, like the subject matter of it, and it has a little bit more to say with its commentary in it. I get exactly where you're going with it. Yeah,
I think it's just how they filmed it. Edited it.
Yeah.
It's just everything and oh my god, the music. I just have that ominous music whenever she talks. It's that dude, like that piano or something. It's like dude.
It's actually.
I can't even do it, but it's like.
It's actually, what score really brings me back to it, and it's also another Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross score. It's at the end it's the shower scene near the end.
Oh, yes.
Like that score, that kind of ambience and all that really resonates with me. Like it's giving me like right now I'm just thinking it. It's giving me like weird, like I feel weird about it. Like that's so weird that I feel that way. But I just think because you don't really see like what you said before, we just don't get these type of like Fatal Attraction, that's what you were saying before. Like, we just don't see these type of films as much. So when I watched this for the first time, I'm like, I've never seen a movie like this. Maybe you're the type of person that loves to watch like romance love movies, but this is one where it's like the flip side of a coin. You're seeing the dark side of love. It's like,
but that's what I love about
it. It's like turning a love story on its head and making it like just this insane, twisty, churny story that like but
it's gorgeous.
You know what's funny is that like this almost could have been David Fincher's like swan song. Like he could have retired after making this film. And what's so funny? Okay, I give it a 9. I give the film a 9, of course. Like
I give it a 10.
A 10.
Actually, I give it a 14.
I'll put it in brackets 14. Yeah. But what's so funny is that, like, okay, I know that our next film that we're about to talk about, I know you only watched half of it, but this was actually a film that was he wanted to make this back in, like, 2002 or 3.
What? Really?
So so the film we're talking about, of course, is the film that just got dropped on Netflix, like, 2 years ago called Mank. It's
been 2 years.
Yeah, it was on, I remember watching it was, like, December of 2020. I watched it, like, the first day, because, like, it's David Fincher.
God.
Yeah. It's the story. It's the story about the writer of the classic film Citizen Kane. It's what's his name? Gary Oldman Gary Oldman, but he plays
like Mark. Some.
Blah blah blah. Hang in with me. My beautiful audience. Oh no, my phone is fucking dead. That never happens. That might be the first time my phone has ever died. Oh my god.
Let me see.
It's Mankiewicz. Mankiewicz. Yep, and they call him Mank, but what's his first name? Oh my god. Benjamin?
His name's like Walt. Oh, it could be Benjamin.
Hang on, I have to get this right.
I'm looking it up.
Thank you.
Herman
Mankiewicz. Thank you. So it's the story about him.
On my
he's a drunk writer struggling to get into the Hollywood business in the 1930s to 40s. Like he has a script, Citizen Kane. Like so that's what it's about. But did you know that David Fincher's father, Jack Fincher, wrote this film?
What?
In the 90s.
Whoa, is his dad still around?
No, sadly his dad passed away in 2002 or 3.
Oh, that's so sad. So, this is like a little memo.
Yeah,
like a little...
yeah. It's a very it's a
Oh.
very nice love letter to his father, and he wanted to make this film like back then, but the studios at the time were like, like Citizen Kane wasn't as cherished as it is today as it was back then. So it really would have been a film that was ahead of its time in terms of its like, like we're watching like the making of like what some consider to be the greatest film of all time. Like, it just wasn't praised as back then. But what I'm saying, like Gone Girl almost could have been a great swan song to end off on in his era of filmmaking for the studio system, because it almost comes full circle. Gone Girl was produced by 20th Century Fox, which was the exact same studio that fucked him over 20 years later or 20 years ago with Alien 3.
Oh shit. Oh.
I look at
right.
it honestly, it almost could have been a nice like Hollywood, like swan song coming full circle ending to his era before moving on to more streaming service kind of stuff. And I know we'll briefly touch upon that in a second, but
I gotta admit, I only have...
Yeah, what'd you think of it? Like,
enough...
yeah, what did you watch it? Like, what'd you think?
Well, again, the fact that I watched like 2 nights and I didn't know, I forgot his name was Herman.
I know.
That's so bad. I guess, sorry guys, sorry viewers, listening. Sorry listeners. Yeah. It's been quite crazy with my life so far, but anyway, besides that point, I was so in awe with the cinematography and just the lighting and everything, and the production design is just incredible. I was watching this, and I actually sent Cody did I send you a picture, or did I tell you that I was watching it? I think.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And I was just like, I love this movie already. It's just. Yeah, just old Hollywood, and I was like, oh my god, they sound like what they sounded like back then too. Like, I think he like nailed it.
It's a film that not only takes place in 1939, 1940, but it's also a film that it's made to look like it was made back then as well.
Yeah, and I was like kind of like looking up the real people too and seeing what they look like, and I was like, wow, like they did it pretty like the Orson Welles. I was like, holy shit!
Very nicely done.
So like,
yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this guy looks just like him. I don't know, that's for me and my perception, but when I was watching it, I was just like, I just love how they added the the burnt marks on the, or like, you know how you see like little circle? Is it a burnt mark?
Here's the quote Tyler Durden: in the industry we call them cigarette burns. There we go. That ties nicely.
But yes, maybe that's why they did it. The home, it's a little circle thing.
Yeah.
I like those. I thought it was such a great touch, and
here's
really cool.
Here's the thing: is that like I had the worst expectations going into this movie. I was expecting another engaging thing. I might need to watch this.
Slow.
I might need to watch this again because I was just like, eh. And I hate saying that because it's like so well made, and there's so much passion and there's so much love for like cinema feeding off of the screen. It's just, I don't know if it was the most horribly interesting story. I didn't necessarily find the story of him engaging. I really wanted I wanted to feel sympathy for him, but for some reason I just couldn't at a lot of points.
Did you feel like because how I was watching it, I thought I was getting kind of like confused at some points. I don't know, did you get that impression? Maybe I just need to watch it again.
It was a bit, like, there's a lot of stuff that they're talking about where I'm like, I'm not really understanding what they're talking about, to be honest.
Like, they really, like, you have to pay attention, like, 100%,
yeah.
I think. If you just trail off for a second, or get some water and you come back, like, you're kind of, yeah. But, like what you said, just how they filmed it, it was just so beautifully done.
Yeah.
I just loved that aspect of it. The actors did a really good job. I'm a big fan of Gary Oldman.
I think he does a great job. He does a great job in the movie. I'll give him that. Like, it's a very committed performance.
Well, you've seen The Artist, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that kind of like brought feels of The Artist to me, maybe because it was just black and white and it was a silent depiction.
Well, it's sort of like it's a love
But-
letter to the golden age of cinema. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like how I felt when I was watching it, but I really love his take on it. Again, I just was like, I felt like I was in that time when I was watching it.
Yeah, and I think that's the aspect of it that really stands out, and it keeps it from being an unwatchable movie, because it is very engaging. It's just, I don't think I would recommend it to everybody, because if they're not familiar with Citizen Kane or really have a really deep passion into film like you and I, it's like they probably won't like it as much. But even that being said, I just didn't find it that interesting as of a film. I almost would have loved to watch it like a documentary about it.
That's true.
But for that, I give it like a 6, and I hate saying that because that's the lowest. That's the lowest I've given a Fincher film tonight, and it's like,
No, the one that no, because the Alien one you haven't.
Okay, no.
Talked about
Alien. I give that a Alien. I give that a Alien 3. I give that a fucking 3 probably, like, or a 2 at best.
Or -2. -2.
No, that's a mess. But no, this one, like, what would you? I mean, I know you have only like a half an hour, you said, but like, did you find it like?
Yeah, like, again, I think for the cinematography, and I looked it up, being like, did they receive any like Academy Awards for this? And they did. They got for best cinematography and best production design, I think it was.
Yep.
And they deserve it for that, because if you just want to see something from that era, I think they did such a good job. But yeah, it just, I've noticed that I was kind of like rewinding it sometimes, because I was just like, did I miss something? Like,
Yeah.
why is he laying in the bed? Like, for the longest, I don't know why I felt like that. But again, maybe because I was kind of distracted at times.
Fair enough.
I was watching it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Been quite busy. But yeah, I'll give it another chance. I think I would rewatch it. Even though I have a half an hour left, I think
There's
I would rewatch it and give it another chance. But yeah, it's definitely not like one that I would recommend. Like, no, I did recommend it to my colleagues actually at work, and I said to them, if you're into like something looking quite cool, like 40s, like, you know, golden age cinema, but not filmed in that era, but filmed now, like, and if you're a David Fincher fan, I would recommend it as like a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's not the type of movie that you'd be like, oh, let's watch it. You know, it's more like you have to be in the zone.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's what I was going into it. I was more like what you said, like something more like maybe upbeat, more like, you know,
Engaging. Yeah.
his kind of, yeah, like engaging. But this one was different of his.
Someone said it best,
So-
someone, I forget who it was. They said watch Citizen Kane, then watch Mank, and then rewatch Citizen Kane, and you'll watch Citizen Kane with a completely different perspective than how most people would. So that could be a neat experiment to do.
Actually, that'd be quite cool for us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
To kind of tie it home, even that being said, like, I know and my criticism comes more from like the scripts or like just like the story being told, but like David Fincher just knows how to even take like middle of the road material and just still make it completely engaging. And he's always a master craft at edit. Like, he gets so many people involved with his choices in editing and cinematography and lighting and sound design. It's just all top notch. And
yeah, and also this is like a different media to watch it. Like, we're watching it on Netflix as well. It's different than going to cinema, because I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, it would have been really cool to watch it on like the big screen. You know,
Yeah.
like, see it. You know, it'd be so beautiful to see that on a huge, massive screen, and you probably are more engaged with it because you're kind of like, there's no distractions, there's nothing around, you're fully immersed in it. And maybe that's what maybe that's a little bit of I'm not saying it's a downfall, but I'm just saying that maybe you know, people like us or just maybe he just thought, oh, regular viewers probably don't want to go to the cinema to watch it. That's why advertised it on
there could be a bit of
Netflix?
it could be a bit of that, and there could be a bit of the pandemic affecting things where they just need
Oh,
to.
that's true. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you said that was 2020. They put it up.
Yeah, it was December, so that's like
Oh,
still
okay.
knee
it's
deep into
fresh.
COVID. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's true.
but that's actually a great thing you brought up about Netflix is that like I'll end it off like just my points about David Fincher. I'll end off just by saying one thing is that I think he should really stick to streaming service content. I think he could really flesh out television shows really well. I mean, he did the pilot of House of Cards, and
Yeah, that's right.
and like how there was a time where it's like people were saying House of Cards and Orange is the New Black, like people that was the beginning of this new era that we're in with streaming services where people were saying, oh, you got to watch this show called Orange is the New Black and House of Cards, it's on Netflix, it's like a series and you binge it and all that stuff, and then we get like more things that come out. I mean, I know I'm going back like 5-6 years ago, but like we're in every fucking streaming service has so many shows, there's so much content, and like the quality of his work really is striking and cinematic. I mean, case no point, Mindhunter. Have you watched Mindhunter?
No, but I watched a little bit of it. What do you say? I've watched a bit of it, but I haven't like.
So he's very involved with that show. Like he's an executive producer.
Is he?
He's a director, and like yeah. If you're into murder, porn, and mystery and all that, like you gotta watch Mindhunter. Like it's such an. I'm not gonna get into it, but I think his niche right now should be streaming services. He should be done with the studio system. I think he should have way more control and creative freedom. And he should still continue to do what he does best because I love watching his films based on watching his films.
Case closed.
That's all I can say. That's all I can say. What do you have left to say? Like if you have anything else.
I love the guy. I think it's very inspirational as a filmmaker. He has such an amazing way of telling his stories and stories that we haven't really seen before, and he's pretty like varied as well. Like he goes from, Seven, and then he also does Social Network, but then he goes back to like Gone Girl. He does like a lot of different things, but they're kind of all sort relate to one another in a way.
I think the style.
Yeah.
is really was what the relatable thing is between them all. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like his stuff, and I'm always excited to see his stuff. I'm definitely gonna continue watching Mindhunter, and I really want to rewatch the movie that I was watching before, which is
Mank.
Is it Mank? Mank. I just love the name. The name. I always feel like, am I saying it wrong? Like, because Mank is like Mank. I would like to rewatch that one. But yeah, it's just such a great. Yeah, it'd be really cool to like meet him, and he's one of those directors, and he's definitely like what you said. He's a Kubrick man.
Yep.
So he's like the modern day Kubrick, I guess.
He's one of them. I mean, he's definitely one of the best filmmakers working today. I mean, yeah, he's definitely up there for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really like him, and I'm excited to see more of his stuff.
Well, I guess we better get going, and we need to like watch more of his stuff. But watch some of his music videos too. He has I'll send you it. He has a really cool 9 Inch Nails music video for the song Only.
Oh.
You know those. You know the thing that's like you press your face up against it, and it's like the needles, and it's like it does an outprint of your face.
Yes, I had. My cousins used to have it as a kid.
So it's like that, Trent Reznor's face during that, but it's all digitalized, and you can tell aesthetically it's David Fincher directing it. I'll send it to you. It's a really cool song, actually.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see it. Yeah, no, I need to rewatch a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
And, he's such a cool guy, and I really want, Dan to be involved in it, too. And, like, Veronica now, like, she's like, oh, now I know what he's done, and that's why I like him and all this.
You're me. You need to pass it down to your other and show him some great stuff.
I know. I've been trying. We've been binging now on the Ozarks.
Oh yeah, I so many people have recommended that show. I'm gonna get down to it eventually.
Oh my god, man, it's great. I recommend it.
I'm trying to get down to like the personal list of films that I want to watch and shows. Like I gotta go with it time and one at a time. It's just like
I agree.
A lot of stuff.
There's too many good things out there that you need to explore.
Exactly.
and myself as well. But anyway.
Well, thank you, Jess. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
I know, it's so nice. And it's lovely to see you.
It's lovely to talk about very dark cinema with you.
Yes. Oh god, like some of them I could have like dived deep into a lot of them. If we do like we pick like one film from the list and we can dive deep into it.
Yeah.
It'd be quite fun to do. Put it from a hat and then
And everybody listening, please subscribe and watch more So to Speak and watch more Pop Talk. And I'll see you on the next one, most definitely. Now, Jess, I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Wait, what? How am I going to do that?
Remotely. Just hit me.
Yeah.
Hit me remotely. Boom! Ow!
It's so crazy hard that it went through the screen, went to Canada from England. So there you go.
Where's my mind?
Hey!
There we go. I always do a cheesy little ending, but yeah, we'll call it.
Aww.